Good afternoon, Salem. Thank you very much for joining us. Could you kindly tell us what's your story? Why space?
Well, space is the final frontier, I mean, as they say. I mean, I think, you know, if you look at today, as a person who's living on Earth, every day that you, you know, go around your daily business, you'll be doing something that would be utilizing something from space. So if you're talking on the phone, international call, that could be using a communication satellite. Just to get to your destination, you need to use maps that were produced using satellites. To get to the correct navigation, you'd be using navigation satellites. Those are things that, you know, space has become part of our day-to-day life. Yeah, so the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center is quite a recent entity. So we've been around for about over 10 years. And the focus of this entity really is that we want to bring the space industry to the UAE. And we want to focus on bringing it through UAE nationals and self-development.
How do you make a difference?
Yeah, I think, you know, looking at the space industry in general, so if you look historically, a lot of technologies that were developed for the space industry are now being utilized on Earth, are being utilized to help people. So if you look at you know, the Apollo missions, when they sent the astronauts to the moon. So they were going on a mission that would take about 3-4 days. So they have to have, in a very small space, you know, they have to generate their own power. They have to recycle their water. They have to have space for food, etc., and all of these things. And the technologies that were developed are now being used in homes on Earth and for everyday people. So we have solar panels, you know, technologies that purify water, recycle water. You know, these kind of spin-offs that come from space, I think are very beneficial to humans on the ground. And with that, without that funding, without that, you know, moonshot thinking, maybe those technologies wouldn't have been developed.
What experience has it been so far for you at this conference?
Definitely, this conference is very important. So I think, you know, I'll talk about ourselves. So in the, you know, in the UAE, we're quite recent to the space industry. And when you talk about risk and calculating that risk, that's very important, because coming in as a new entity, if you take too much of a gamble, too much of a risk on a mission, and something goes wrong, that can be the end of your program.
What do you intend to take away from this conference that will perhaps enable to continue or make continuous development in the industry, in this industry?
Well, from my perspective, from the position that I sit at the center, I'm always looking at the new technologies that are coming. So one of them is asteroid mining. And, you know, that's something new that's being talked about now. And, you know, is that something that can be insured? Is that something that can be regulated? Is that something that can be financed? You know, we look at those technologies because if these things are happening today in the US, you know, a couple of months later, they might be asking us about those things here. So we need to, you know, we need to be prepared for that, and we need to know and see, you know, are these things that we want to be working in. So that's one example. I'm looking at the many different examples that will come through this conference of new technologies and how the risk aspect, how to mitigate those risks and how to finance those risks will come into play. Thank you very much. Shukran.
Shukran.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.